Namaskara, Namaste, Vanakkam, and hello to all our viewers today. I welcome you to the 10th episode of the Cadet Diaries, which is powered by NCC EXPA, which is Exchange Participants Association. The 10th episode is called English Vinglish. जैसे कि आप लोगों ने देखा होगा that movie, right? English Vinglish. We're going to be talking about something similar to that today with our two speakers. We have Haseeb and Pinal, and they've got a lot of stories to share with us. Now, to start off with, what is EXPA? EXPA is an organization, we are NCC Exchange Participants Organization. We have a flagship program called the Cadet Program, and this is a part of that called the Cadet Diaries, which is a free webinar series to all our audiences, student audiences, and young professionals as well. For those of you who have joined us today, both on AirMeet and Facebook Live, I welcome you all. Those of you who've come back, from the previous episodes, how are you guys doing? आप सबको पता है कि ये कैसे चलता है. So I will not explain much to you guys. But शायद कोई लोग हैं जो first time हमारे पास ये webinar में आए हैं. For those new joiners, welcome. We are glad to have you on board. For those of you who are on with us on Facebook Live, you can put in any of your questions on the Facebook chat, and our team will be monitoring the chat box, and you can ask any questions to our speakers, and I will be able to see them and ask some of those questions. For those of you on AirMeet, there are 2-3 different options. We have a chat box. You can put in any comments you have there. We have a questions box. You can put all your questions out in the question box. And for those of you who are on a laptop और PC, जो लोग लैपटॉप या PC डेस्कटॉप पे हैं, आपको टॉप राइट हैंड कॉर्नर में you'll get an option called raise hand. So if you raise your hand, you can come feature live and ask a question to our speakers later on towards the end. अंत में you can ask question live if you raise your hand. All right. This session is also recorded, and this will be put up on YouTube. और इसका लिंक और जो भी है इसके बारे में इंफॉर्मेशन हमारे सोशल मीडिया चैनल्स पे है. आएंगे in the coming week, and I will tell you in the end. I will tell you about all of our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all of that. I will give you all that information. Now let's get started. Haseeb and Pinal, I hope you guys are ready. To start off with, let me tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Rajagopalan. I am an IT professional, 2019 graduate, and I've been with the cadet program for about 4 years. I've been training cadets on personality development. And 1,500, 2,000 cadets is something that I've connected with over the past 4 years. I love my music. I play the keyboard a little bit, and I like to go on treks. Although this time is not very ideal. That's a little bit about me. Talking about our speakers today, we have Haseeb. Haseeb is a very interesting person. Haseeb is really interesting. He's a BE graduate, has a wide range of personal and professional experiences. He has been working for over 15 years. 15 साल से ऊपर he's been working in different domains and in different countries. Currently, Haseeb is a co-founder and the sales and services director of Be Nimble IT. This is a software company operating in different countries. Apart from being an enthusiastic dad, he likes his music and he also plays the piano, and he's known for his can-do attitude. I welcome you, Haseeb, to the 10th episode of the Cadet Diaries. I hope our audience, gets to know a lot from you.
Namaste, Vanakkam, Sat Sri Akal, kaise hain sab changa?
Thank you, Haseeb. Moving on, Pinal is one of our own, right? Pinal is a cadet trainer as well. She's been with us for a little over a year and a half, and she's currently working in a consultancy firm as a recruitment consultant. Apart from this is a very tiny part of Pinal. Apart from this, she's an instructor at Invincible NGO, which is a renowned trekking organization in India. She's passionate about horse riding, and she's done a lot of trekking and hiking, rock climbing, solo trips, and all of that. She's an adventurer and all. I welcome you also, Pinal. I know our audience is going to learn a lot from you as well.
Thank you, Raj, for such a nice introduction. Hello, everyone.
Right. Now, guys, let's get right into it. There were a lot of questions. बहुत सारे सवाल थे. Even we had some polls that were sent, registration form में polls थे, and audiences answered that as well. Before we get into the details, why don't you tell us about yours? आपका कहानी क्या है, Haseeb? What is your story?
अरे मेरा कहानी तो बहुत पहले से शुरू होता है. I mean, I'm a 2004 graduate of my computer science engineering. लेकिन I'll take it a little back. मेरा थोड़ा background बता देता हूँ. मेरा जन्म हुआ था यहाँ पे चेन्नई में, लेकिन मेरे मम्मी पापा का जन्म अलग अलग कंट्रीज अलग अलग जगह पे हुआ था. मेरी माँ जैसे पंजाबी है, मेरे पापा तमिलनाडु से हैं। अभी उन्होंने जब मेरी शादी की थी तो मेरी वाइफ है आंध्र प्रदेश से, ठीक है। हम लोग उसके बाद हम लोग गए ऑस्ट्रेलिया। ऑस्ट्रेलिया में जाके मेरे बच्चे जो हैं वो सब ऑस्ट्रेलियन है। तो हम लोग वापस सब वो करके हम लोग वापस इंडिया आके इंडिया में तमिलनाडु में फिर वापस बसे हुए हैं। सो वी माइग्रेटेड बैक टू इंडिया। लेकिन ये इतना जब जो वैरायटी है हमारे पास, सो वी ब्रिंगिंग पार्ट्स ऑफ डिफरेंट डिफरेंट कल्चर्स। सो एक टाइम जो था हम लोग जब इंजीनियरिंग कर रहा था तो इंग्लिश की मतलब सिर्फ पढ़ाई में जरूरत होती थी। उसके बाद जब सोचा कि कहीं बाहर जाके एक्सपोजर ये करेंगे, चलो ऑस्ट्रेलिया जाते हैं, चलो राजू बन गया जेंटलमैन टाइप में, जाएंगे ऑस्ट्रेलिया, जाएंगे वहां पे जाके खूब राज करेंगे वहां पे, क्योंकि इंग्लिश तो पढ़ी हुई थी यहाँ पे। लेकिन वहां पे जब गया था तो एवरीथिंग वाज डिफरेंट, एवरीथिंग चेंज, माय परसेप्शन अबाउट इंग्लिश चेंज्ड, क्योंकि इंग्लिश उन लोगों की प्राइमरी लैंग्वेज है, हमारी जो है सेकेंडरी लैंग्वेज होती है। तो ये एक्सपीरियंसेस से मुझे बहुत कुछ सीखने को मिला। तो ऐसे ही सिचुएशंस बहुत सारे हैं, हम अभी हाल ही में डिस्कस करेंगे। तो पीनल जी, आप बताइए आपका एक्सपीरियंस, आपका शुरुआत कैसे हुआ था, आपका थोड़ा बैकग्राउंड बताइए।
हाँ जी, बिल्कुल। तो मेरा स्कूल, जो मेरा स्टार्टिंग हुआ स्कूल से, आई हैव डन माय स्कूल इन गुजराती मीडियम कंप्लीटली। तो शुरुआत में स्कूल में मैं काफी एक्टिव थी एक्स्ट्रा एक्टिविटीज में। मैं हर एक कंपटीशन में पार्टिसिपेट करती थी, और स्पेशली पब्लिक स्पीकिंग कॉम्पिटिशन्स में। इवन मेरे काफी सफलताएं भी मुझे मिली है ऐसी कॉम्पिटिशन्स में। तो मुझे स्टेज फियर जैसा कुछ नहीं था, और ज्यादा एक्टिविटीज में पढ़ाई के साथ इन्वॉल्व होना मुझे पसंद था हमेशा से, पहले से। सो जब तक मैं स्कूल में थी, तब तक मुझे ऐसा कभी लगा नहीं कि इंग्लिश मुझे सीखना चाहिए। इंग्लिश कम्युनिकेशन स्किल, आई नीड टू लर्न दिस स्किल। I never felt like that till my school. But when I came to my college, there was one event, and it was a celebration in college. And 3 लड़कियों ने इंग्लिश में स्पीच दी, वो फेस्टिवल के रिलेटेड, and I was in the audience. So that time I feel, I just said to myself, Pinal, for the first time you are in the audience only. मैं पहली बार सिर्फ एक ऑडियंस का पार्ट हूँ। Otherwise, I used to be on a stage, and I used to be speak on a stage. So that moment, I feel like कि yes, Pinal, this is what you are missing. ये है जो एक चीज मिसिंग है, जिसकी वजह से तुम अभी कॉलेज में आके एक्स्ट्रा एक्टिविटीज में पार्टिसिपेट नहीं कर पा रही हो। तो ऐसे इस तरीके से कॉलेज में आके मुझे फील हुआ कि इंग्लिश कम्युनिकेशन स्किल की जरूरत है। So I would like to ask Haseeb again, like how you start with English, and how was your start with the journey of English communication?
अच्छा, बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग बात बताई आपने पीनल जी, थैंक यू। एक्चुअली मेरी शुरुआत हुई थी इंग्लिश के स्कूल से। मतलब जब मम्मी पापा ने मुझे स्कूल में डाला था तो इंग्लिश मीडियम स्कूल में ही डाला था, ठीक है। तो इंग्लिश का लेकिन तमिलनाडु में जो इतना महत्व तो होता है, सो इट इज एक्चुअली देयर, लेकिन उतना ज्यादा नहीं, क्योंकि यहाँ पे लोग ज्यादातर तमिल बात करते हैं, और ये तमिल के साथ साथ मतलब इंग्लिश पढ़ी जाती है, मतलब कम्युनिकेट नहीं होती है। लेकिन हमारे घर पे हम लोग जो हिंदी बात करते थे ज्यादातर, मुझे तमिल भी सीखना पड़ा, मुझे लोगों से बातचीत करने के तमिल सीखना पड़ा, लेकिन साथ ही साथ में मुझे इंग्लिश भी सीखना पड़ा हो रहा था, क्योंकि मुझे पढ़ाई करनी थी, आगे बढ़ना था, एवरीथिंग एल्स, ठीक है। तो उसके बाद जो है, लेकिन मुझे जब लगा, तो जब मैंने इंडिया छोड़ के फिर ऑस्ट्रेलिया गया था, तब जाके मुझे पता चला कि सिर्फ इंग्लिश जानने से कुछ नहीं होगा, इंग्लिश को अपनाना चाहिए, इंग्लिश से बात आगे बढ़ाना चाहिए। तो हम लोगों का जो कम्युनिकेशन मोड होता है उसको सब बदलाना पड़ता है। तो वो एक पॉइंट को लेके मेरी सारी जिंदगी वो टाइम से बदल गई। So इसीलिए this is what I feel, Raj. I mean, at that point in time, everything changed for me in my life.
Right, yeah. Right. That's very interesting. You know, similar stories you've had. My story is a little different. Like you said, Haseeb, I was in an English medium school, English medium, high school, college. Throughout, I was in English medium. But a little bit in between, I joined the NCC. And there, when I went and met a lot of people from different states, I thought maybe I need to learn Hindi. I had English with me from the start. Throughout, I learned English, but I never got the chance to learn Hindi or converse in Hindi.
Right.
I had to learn Hindi. On the other hand, well, it was a different experience, and I started off right around 8th grade, 9th grade to learn, develop Hindi. I used to talk to my PS staff, some officers, some other people from different states in camps, and ऐसे ऐसे मैं थोड़ा थोड़ा करके हिंदी सीख लिया. अभी तो थोड़ा बहुत बात कर लेता हूँ. Right. To move it on, before we move on, the audience, guys, I want to ask you one question, right? I want to ask you a poll question, and you will get an option of yes or no on your screen. And the question is this. The question is this: learning the English language will help me achieve my goal. What do you think? अंग्रेजी सीखना, learning the English language, अंग्रेजी सीखना, मेरा goal, जो भी मेरा goal है, whatever my goal is in life, whatever my aim is in life, I will be able to achieve it. If you think yes, achieve it in a better way. If you think yes, please hit yes. If you think no, please hit no. And it'll be right on your screen, guys.
So अभी लोग अभी live vote कर रहे हैं क्या?
Yeah, they're voting live. I'm able to see the results here on my screen. Most of them are saying yes. There are some people who are saying no as well. Right. We'll give that 5 more seconds. But meanwhile, we'll get back to that. All right, I think that is pretty much it. So we have about 85% of the people who are saying yes, it is important, and some of them are saying no, it is not important for me to. It doesn't help me that much as well. This was also something we saw. Right. This was also something we saw on our poll that we gave on the registration form. So I have the poll with me here. It says, why do you think English is important? Most of them said communication. ज्यादातर लोग बोले कि इंग्लिश इज इंपॉर्टेंट क्योंकि कम्युनिकेट करना है. सम ऑफ देम, थोड़े लोग ने बोला कि जॉब के लिए इंपॉर्टेंट है, और थोड़े लोग ने बोला दूसरों को हेल्प करने के लिए इंपॉर्टेंट है. राइट. एट दिस पॉइंट, what exactly do you think, Haseeb? Where is the value, or why did you feel like you had to change? What changed for you? What is the why?
So the why, I'll come to the why as well. Like I mentioned about my background, मेरे खून में जो है इडली सांबार भरा हुआ है, राजमा चावल भरा हुआ है, पिज्जा बर्गर भरा हुआ है, all of those things are there. लेकिन I could be comfortable in any place. But why, that question that you asked, the why, it is all about progression. आगे बढ़ने की सोच जो होती है, the drive that you have within yourself कि आगे जाके कुछ हासिल करना है, वो जो एक चीज होती है, that is enough for you to identify कि आज के जमाने में what is more important. Do I have the skills? हाँ, आपने जो अपना undergraduation किया हुआ है, that will probably help you in terms of identifying your career path. लेकिन वो career path में आगे बढ़ने के लिए what do you need? Do you need professional skills? कि आप फर्ज करो आप शेफ हो, जाके आपको culinary skills मालूम है, all of those things is fine. लेकिन जब आपको आपके लोगों के साथ बात करने की मतलब you need to be able to communicate with each other as well, and to see what do you need to in order to bring everyone together for a particular purpose. You need to have a common language, and English is one of those common languages. Even in India, जब North Indian South India आते हैं काम करने के लिए, जब South Indians North India जाते हैं काम करने के लिए, तब वो time पे English is the only language that actually helps them come together and converse, have a conversation. चाहे वो टूटी-फूटी इंग्लिश ही हो, लेकिन फिर भी लोग इंग्लिश प्रेफर करते हैं एक दूसरे से बात करने के लिए. And it is important today, in today's day and age, that you need to have a common language, and not only between Indians, but also to have exposure to other countries as well. कि बाहर के दूसरे बस्ती के लोग से बात करने के लिए भी you need to have English as a common language, because English is a universal language, right? So Pinal, जैसे आपने भी बोला था, आपके जब आपने कॉलेज में ये किया था, you saw that you were sitting in the background. So what was your experience?
Yeah, so just like that, as I said कि कॉलेज में जब मैं स्टार्ट हुआ तब मुझे एक किक मिली कि yes, English is missing. But then when I joined NCC, there as well I find if I want more opportunities. If I want to go for national camps, even if I want to go, if I want more options in my career, professional life, even I want more options for my extracurricular activities. I feel that English there will be English is must for communicate to share my views, because at a national level, if you are going, then there will be people from all over India. तो if it is like कि अगर एक क्वेश्चन होता है कि अगर सामने जो हमारे साथ है उनको अगर हिंदी समझ में आती है, बिकॉज हिंदुस्तान में सबको हिंदी समझ में आती है, देन व्हाई वी नीड टू टॉक इन इंग्लिश. तो उसमें एज आई एम वर्किंग राइट नाउ, so as per my experience, we all know our native language, our mother tongue, but English is something different which we are doing on ourselves. If we learn Gujarati, Punjabi, Marathi, Tamil, whichever language, we all learn this language from our parents. हमें ये सब हमारी सोसाइटी से हमने बचपन से सीखी है, बट हमने बड़े होके क्या इम्प्लीमेंट किया, बड़े होके हमने क्या नया चेंज लाया, बड़े होके हमने क्या नया सीखा. So this is about English communication skills. So if you speak in English, it shows your learning attitude. It shows you are exploring. It shows that you are ready to accept a change and you are ready for new opportunities as well. So English communication is must to get more options in your personal life as well as for your professional life as well.
I think you got a very important thing as well, on that one. You mentioned, आपकी जो native language होती है, all of those, the native language is something that you already know. You are born with it, right? Lekin, if I always say that, if your native language, whatever it is, your mother tongue is what you call, right? If your Tamil is your mother tongue, Telugu, Hindi, Kannada, jo bhi hai aapka is your mother tongue, then English is your father tongue, right? So it actually teaches. So it teaches you to go out into the world, just like how Pinal mentioned. It teaches you to go out into the world, face challenges, face new opportunities, face new, get new ideas as well. So it exposes you to a whole different, market segment just by knowing English, right? And
that's a very interesting thought, Haseeb and Pinal. Very, very interesting stories and backgrounds. And it's been only the audience. You should know this. Pinal jo baat kar rahi hai, she's talking about her college life and ahead from her college life. 5 years back, Pinal was in college. और तब Pinal, according to what she said, Pinal को English में बात करना was not that, she was not very good at that. She could read maybe, she could write maybe, she could understand, yes, but बात करने में उतना easy नहीं था. And 4 to 5 years, and you see Pinal here, English एक episode में, she's a speaker. And like Haseeb also mentioned, you start off local and to move ahead and go global, it's like a father tongue for you, right? English is something that is needed a lot these days. I want to move on a little bit to the next question I have.
Right.
All of this happened. Yes, hua. It forced you, motivated you, maybe it pushed you towards learning the English language. And here you are today, both of you are here, right? You had so many achievements to your name. बहुत कुछ हो गया. Did you have other friends also? बाकी friends भी थे क्या? They were obviously there in the same position that you were in. उनको भी वो decision लेना था कि do I have to learn English? Can I survive without English? What should I do? Not just English as a language, but English as a skill, right? What do you think? Like 4, 5 years back, 10 years back, 15 years back, what happened to your peers? Pinal, if you want to start off with that.
Yeah. So when I started learning English communication, my friends didn't start at that time who are from Gujarati background. So, but now seeing how I am growing in my professional and personal life, they have already started, and I'm very happy with that. If I compare, I have friends with English background and I have friends from Gujarati background. So जो फ्रेंड्स मेरे इंग्लिश बैकग्राउंड से है, दे आर वर्किंग राइट नाउ एंड दे आर डूइंग वेरी वेल इन देयर प्रोफेशनल लाइफ. बट जो मेरे फ्रेंड्स गुजराती बैकग्राउंड से है, either they are struggling with getting a job, or if they are working, then they are still finding a good opportunity which is of their interest. So this is how I can find and how I can see this difference between how it makes a difference in your professional life as well. इवन टुडे अगर आज मैं कभी मेरे फ्रेंड से कॉल करती हूँ तो आई ऑलवेज यूज टू टॉक इन इंग्लिश ओनली विद देम, बिकॉज आई फील जब हम सामने से इंग्लिश में कम्युनिकेशन स्टार्ट करते हैं तो सामने वाला इंसान एटलीस्ट 2 लाइन्स, 5 में से 2 लाइन वो इंग्लिश में जरूर बोलेगा. So this way, I am trying to bring that change in their life as well. So I just want to ask to Haseeb as well. So what about your peers and what about your colleagues?
Right. I think that was an interesting question as well, Raj. And that was a perfect example as well, Pinal. But in my experience, I'll have to go back a little while back because I graduated a little while ago as well. But I'll give you that experience and I'll also tell, all the audience as well, कि I'll admit something very honestly यहाँ पे. मेरा engineering हालांकि हुआ था computer science engineering में, but I wasn't one of the top students in my class as well, right? And in engineering altogether, I wasn't one of those top students. Everybody, there were many other students that were way better than me in terms of understanding the concepts around engineering, doing programming, and जो भी computer science engineers करते हैं, yes, all of those folks were way better than me. What I was good at talking in English. लेकिन यहाँ पे जो ये होता था कि engineering पढ़ना होता है, we have to understand the concepts, we have to become a graduate at the end of the day. So I did that part. After graduating and everything, and when I went to Australia and everything, वहाँ पे देखा कि लोगों के पास उतनी डिग्रीज नहीं है वहाँ पे. मेरी बैचलर्स डिग्री वहाँ पे बहुत काम आई, लेकिन at the same time I wasn't able to communicate with them, right? So this led to this entire thing that some of my other colleagues that were there my other friends that were there in college and everything, they all stuck to a job. They all went and got jobs in a company as a programmer and everything, and they started progressing in life. लेकिन जब मैं ऑस्ट्रेलिया गया था, my first job in life, in my entire career, my first job was actually going and washing toilets in a train station. That was my first job in my career, whereas all my other friends were actually getting jobs in professional companies and everything. My first job was going to Australia and washing toilets in a train station. शौचालय में वहाँ पे. लेकिन उसके बाद what I learned in life is that you have to progress. English, then talking with people over there, talking with the locals over there. जैसे जैसे वहाँ पे मास्टर्स करने के लिए गया था, एक दिन में पढ़ाई करो, फिर शाम को जाके फिर वापस काम करो, फिर वहां से एक जॉब से दूसरी जॉब, दूसरी जॉब से तीसरी जॉब, तीसरी जॉब से चौथी जॉब, ऐसे बढ़ते 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 मुझे करीब करीब 2 साल लगे फिर जाके उसमें ये करने के लिए. So these were the kind of experiences that I've had, whereas all the other guys were having positive experiences as well. But I learned it the hard way, and today I founded a company and I'm working towards it. Whereas some of my other professionals are still working today, right? But these are the kind of experiences that I've had.
That's a very inspiring story, Haseeb. I mean, I know, I'm sure a lot of our audience members will have more questions to the both of you with whatever stories you've told, but we'll get to that in a short time. The audience members, मैं याद दिलाना चाहता हूँ कि please type in your question in the chat box, and those of you who are live on a desktop or a PC, please raise your hand so that you can come on live. Pinal, I want to take this back to you and ask you another question. आपने बोला कि your entire background was Gujarati medium. Maximum exposure शायद गुजराती मीडियम से थोड़ा हिंदी बात करने में, right? Maybe. But you say, okay, that person knows Gujarati, Hindi, and all of that. Why should I talk to them in English when I already know that he knows Hindi or he knows Gujarati? What value does that add? And this is in your personal life, right? But let's go one step ahead as well. This change happened in your personal life, your transition from Gujarati, Hindi to a little bit of English. How did that help you in terms of your career, in terms of your goal? Did anything change? Did it help you? Did it support you? What happened there, Pinal?
Yes. So, as I said and as I mentioned earlier, that Gujarati Hindi, I was speaking from my childhood, but English was something that I was doing out of my comfort zone. जो मैं कुछ नया कर रही थी अपनी लाइफ में, जो मैं खुद से सीख रही थी ये लैंग्वेज. और इसने मुझे मेरे करियर लाइफ में काफी हेल्प की है. आई हैव डन इन माय ग्रेजुएशन बीकॉम, but right now I'm working in a HR company as a recruitment consultant. So my profession is completely different from my education. But that is what this job I got from my personality, from my communication skills. I started my career with as a recruiter, and when I changed my job, I got another job that was just because of my communication skills. This English communication skill, I got a job in a US staffing company, and because of this benefit of I was able to communicate in English very well, मुझे जो पहले सैलरी मिल रही थी उससे मुझे डबल सैलरी मिली. So this way, English communication helped me to grow in my career as far as in getting a financial advantage as well. So I also want to ask Haseeb as well, how it helps you in your professional career as well.
Okay. Now, I think that's a very interesting thing as well. If you've already been, learning your native language, whatever your native language was, right, and you're very comfortable with it, yes, you can get by, right? But I'm sure you're not here on this webinar with EXPA just to get by, right? You want to actually do something very positive towards your career. You want to grow your career. Hence why you guys are also attending this webinar as well, right? So you want to know what people are actually doing. Is it necessary? That's a question, right? Now, it is very, in today's world, where everything is global, it's a global economy, right? Anybody can work from anywhere and still make a living, right? If you want to restrict yourself to your, local community where you speak the local language, then that's fine. That is your community and your target segment where you want to grow your business, whatever your venture is. But if you want to tap, a larger potential, a global economy that is already available through the, the fibers of internet, then obviously, you have to step up to the next level. And these are the kind of things, challenges that are facing most of you guys, right? You guys are in the, that part of your career where you have to make certain decisions. So I think English is not just, a skill to have, but it's something that it is going to, it's a mandate in a certain way, which will allow you to propel your life. Just like how Pinal mentioned, right? It gives you opportunities beyond your current scope of your education itself. Not just in your line of education, whether it is this or that. I went from being a computer science engineer to being a salesperson. I mean, you can do the same thing as well. You can, be an art student, and you can completely start a restaurant if you have to as well. It doesn't matter. That's where it is. English will actually get you to that level. Isn't it right, Raj?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, one fact, I just want to highlight one thing that the both of you spoke about. First, we have English as a language, absolutely. Then there's English, which is a skill, and it's a little more than a skill. So that's where we are today. It's a skill more than a language. Language is that's a skill. And I want to say that, it's a bridge. I am here today, like taking off from what Haseeb said. Aaj main yahan hu. What I want to be tomorrow or what I want to grow to become is on the other side. And there's this gap in between, and English as a skill acts as a bridge in between these two things. And that's something the audience members need to think about. Thoda soch lo. And we need to start somewhere, which brings me to my next question to you, Haseeb. So far we've established this. Yes, English is important, or whichever language that I need to communicate, be it English or any other language, it is something that is important here, right? In the modern world, in the 21st century, this global language is English. So being in tier 1, tier 2 cities, towns, villages, irrespective of where I am, it always adds value. जो भी मैं हूँ, उसमें addition है. It doesn't कम नहीं करता है. Learning English doesn't make me a smaller person. And it also makes me more presentable, more employable. I'm sure you agree with this. Especially both of you are in, you've also recruited. Pinal is in the recruiting business. Haseeb has his own company, so he's been recruiting that. As an employer, Haseeb, what do you have to say about this entire thing? And I have another question here. अभी तो मुझे पूरा पता चल गया कि ये it's an important thing, right? And कहाँ से शुरू करूँ मैं? I'm interested. मुझे करना है, but कैसे करूँ? कहाँ से शुरू करूँ? I don't know. Can you talk a little bit about that?
ठीक है, and this will be really interesting as well because मेरे जो सारे employees आते हैं, okay, they are not from tier 1 cities. Interestingly, right? So people who are have graduated from tier 2 cities as well, and tier 3 cities in some instances, right? They come to find jobs in tier 1 cities, right, like where we live in. And this is where we allow these folks and we give them opportunities to come and have an exposure to the place, and they come with really good skills. I mean, they are top in their line in terms of their technical skills, their know-hows of whether it is a computer language or whatever it is. They come with really good skills, but unka English communication thoda ye hota hai. Lekin we select from those people as well and say, okay, amongst those people who are coming from tier 2 and tier 3 cities, who are the ones that are talking really well in English, right? And उनको हम लोग select करते हैं, क्योंकि हमारा जो ये है कि हमारी कंपनी में different region से आते हैं. जैसे मैंने पहले बोला था कि we have people from North India, we have people from South India, all working together. लेकिन जब वो लोग साथ में काम करते हैं, एक दूसरे के साथ कैसे बात करेंगे? इंग्लिश में ही तो बात करेंगे, right? So that's the same thing. And during this coronavirus pandemic and everything, all of these people that have been working over here have taken the jobs back to the tier 2 and tier 3 cities, right? They're working from home, and वहां पे जाके they're taking these opportunities back over there as well and showing the people that I can work from this place just by sitting over here, internet लगा के वहां से काम कर सकता हूँ. And this opens up a whole different new level of opportunities for people over there as well, and who see all these things. Isn't that right, Pinal?
Yes, completely agree with you, Haseeb. As like कि हम जब कॉलेज के बाद जॉब लेने जाते हैं, as you said कि as a employer आप चेक करते हैं इंग्लिश कम्युनिकेशन स्किल एज वेल. तो कॉलेज के बाद डिग्री सबके पास होती है, we all have डिग्री, बट उसके साथ अगर हमारी इंग्लिश कम्युनिकेशन स्किल है हमारे पास, तो इट विल एड अ वैल्यू इन डिग्री इन आवर क्वालिफिकेशन एज वेल. तो अगर हम जॉब लेने जाते हैं, सब होते हैं वो अपना नेटिव लैंग्वेज तो बोलेंगे ही बोलेंगे, बिकॉज वो हम बचपन से बोलते आए हैं, एज आई सेड अर्लियर एज वेल. तो अगर डिग्री के साथ हमारे पास हम अगर अच्छे से खुद को प्रेजेंट कर पाएंगे, प्रेजेंटेशन एबिलिटी इज आल्सो देयर इन इंग्लिश कम्युनिकेशन. सो इफ यू विल प्रेजेंट योरसेल्फ इन विथ इंग्लिश कम्युनिकेशन स्किल्स, it will show that you are something extra, you have done something extra, you have added some values with your degree, with your college. So this way it will help you in getting a better job as well.
Hey, it's very interesting, and what both of you said, I have a small thing to throw back to you guys as well. So does that mean I need to be perfect in English? Does all of this mean English is important? समझता हूँ मैं, but I'm not perfect यार. मुझे तो English शशि थरूर जैसे नहीं आता, right? I don't know that good English. I don't talk like someone whose mother tongue is English. Is that okay? क्या मैं थोड़ा टेढ़ा मेढ़ा English बोल सकता हूँ? Is that all right? What do you think, Haseeb?
इंग्लिश का मतलब कहीं से तो कुछ शुरुआत करना ही होता है, चाहे वो टूटी फूटी हो या कुछ भी हो, कहीं से तो इट इज मोर अबाउट द विलिंगनेस टू गो आउट एंड एक्चुअली डू इट. क्योंकि चाहे आप पढ़ने से शुरू करो या चाहे आप बात करने से शुरू करो, कहीं से तो शुरुआत होती है. एंड उसके बाद जाके हाउ मच टाइम यू स्पेंड ऑन स्पीकिंग विद इंग्लिश एज अ लैंग्वेज ऑफ कम्युनिकेशन, right? Whether it is in a written form, whether it is in verbal form, you can spend enough amount of time on it by honing those skills, by finessing those little traits that will allow you to go that little further and present yourself as somebody different amongst the entire crowd. It is not going to be mandatory कि अभी मैं इंग्लिश सीखने के लिए मुझे वापस कोर्स ज्वाइन करना पड़ेगा या ये करना पड़ेगा, वो करना पड़ेगा. कुछ नहीं है ऐसे. लिटिल थिंग्स, you can start by जितना भी आपके पास टाइम है, आप मे बी हिंदी सीरियल ज्यादा देखते हैं, जैसे सास बहू टाइप, if you watch all of those kind of serials, I think just switch to maybe something that you watch in English, right? or maybe something that you read. Maybe you read a Gujarati paper, maybe you read a Hindi paper, maybe switch to a reading an English paper, you know. So these are little changes that you can do in your life that will actually propel you and give you exposure to other things as well. And there's a lot of things that are coming, and I think we'll be talking more about those things as well. There is a lot of changes happening globally, and we will need to have these language skills in order to tap into those particular opportunities. Maybe about what do you think, Pina?
यस एग्जैक्टली, लाइक कहीं से तो शुरुआत करनी होगी, क्योंकि अगर कहीं पहुंचना है तो शुरुआत कहीं से तो करनी पड़ेगी. एंड इनिशियली शुरुआत में आई एग्री, आई आल्सो फेस्ड मेनी चैलेंजेस, मेनी डिफिकल्टीज विद इंग्लिश. मेरा भी टूटा फूटा ही था पहले से. एक लाइन में 2 वर्ड्स इंग्लिश के होते थे, बाकी सारा हिंदी में होता था. सो दिस वे आई स्टार्टेड. And just agree to you, Haseeb, I started learning communicating in English because as Raj mentioned, English पढ़ना लिखना समझना सब आता था, but वो सिर्फ बोलना नहीं आता था, अंग्रेजी बोलना नहीं आता था. तो उसके लिए मैं वही सेम मैंने एक ट्रिक अपनाई कि मैं न्यूज़पेपर लाउडली वो रीड करती थी, तो जिसकी वजह से जो इंग्लिश वर्ड थे वो मेरे इजीली मुझे कम्युनिकेशन कभी किसी के साथ करना होता था, वो इजीली इट कम्स टू माय माउथ. And this really helped me. And one more thing, I started practicing thinking in English, because when we want to share something or view, or we want to share a message, we want to communicate, हमें जो मैसेज फॉरवर्ड करना है वो हम हमारी नेटिव लैंग्वेज में सोचते हैं, गुजराती, पंजाबी, हिंदी. बट उसको जब हमें कम्युनिकेट करना है इंग्लिश में, तो हम सोचते हैं गुजराती में, फिर उसको ट्रांसलेट करते हैं इंग्लिश में, देन हम उसको स्पीक करते हैं, किसी को कम्युनिकेट करते हैं. तो ये जो गैप है ये कवर करने के लिए आई स्टार्टेड थिंकिंग इन इंग्लिश. तो हमारे साथ यहाँ पे काफी लोग ऐसे होंगे कि जिनको ये सेम प्रॉब्लम होता होगा कि उनको बोलने में थोड़ा टाइम लगता है, अटक जाते हैं बीच बीच में. तो इसके लिए आप ये चीज कर सकते हो, यू कैन इम्प्लीमेंट दिस, यू कैन स्टार्ट थिंकिंग इन इंग्लिश. इट विल कवर दिस गैप एंड you will day by day, the more you practice, you will get more perfect in English communication. And जितना ज़्यादा practice होगा उतना ये जो gap है वो cover होगा, you will be fluent in English, and that is definitely
Right. Thank you guys for sharing that. This leads me on to the next question. You spoke a little bit about how you did what. क्या किया आपने कि to develop your skills a little bit. If you can talk a little bit more about that, Haseeb, as to how exactly do I do? Now I know that I have to do. Where do I start? पता चल गया मुझे. क्या कर सकता हूँ? क्या कर सकता हूँ to start off? And then what changes will I be able to see? अभी ये कर रहा हूँ, आज से कर रहा हूँ. तो आगे जाके मुझे क्या opportunities हैं? What can you talk about something a little specific there, Haseeb?
Right. Now, क्योंकि हमारा जमाना अलग था, हमारा प्री इंटरनेट डेज भी था. आजकल तो सबके पास डिवाइसेस हैं. आजकल न्यूज़पेपर भी पढ़ना है तो ऑनलाइन ही पढ़ते हैं लोग. All of those things are there. There's a lot of facilities out there that weren't there earlier. I mean, the fact that we're still having this conversation about English as a language is still something that we have to change about, our nation, right? It is not anti-national or anything to have English as a mode of communication. It is just allowing us to tap into additional potential, right? So what can we do, for all the audiences listening over here, what can you do today is there are things right in your hand. Okay, you have a phone. Obviously, when you watch your videos online, your YouTubes and everything, there are people that you see that people are communicating with each other. So you have exposure into English as well. So you can just look at those people. You can, by observation. Firstly, the best way to learn anything, any skill, is by observation. Once you observe, once you see how people are doing it, you can replicate it. Just by replication, the process of replicating itself will take you to the next level. Now, the other part of your question was more around what opportunities does it expose me to, right? The exposure to opportunities. Now, India is in the limelight today, right? Where with this entire corona pandemic and everything, right? Now, China has actually lost its place in the global market as a manufacturing hub, and that's lost its place in terms of a supplier hub. Today, the world is looking at India to be that supplier, to looking at some of the Asian countries over here to be one of those suppliers. Now, when those jobs start coming over here, we will be automatically, having exposure to all of those opportunities. Now, how do we tap into those? Each one of us, right, has to be able to tap into those potentials. How do we do it? By going and making those kind of connections, making those kind of deals with people that are coming from outside, and having that exposure with those folks. But if we don't do that, we're going to miss the boat. We're going to miss all those opportunities that are coming along. And maybe some other country is going to take away, those projects that we can be supplying from, our tier 2 countries to tier 2 cities as well. Some of those really good skills that people have, manufacturing, everything can be done through our people in tier 2 and tier 3 cities as well, right? So those are the kind of opportunities that are available. So what about you, Pinal?
Yes. So, as you said, these opportunities at global level we are having, and as we all know that many businesses and many entrepreneurs are coming to India. So, I just want to mention one incident from my experience, from my life. When I started with English communication, some of my friends told me, address me with Angrez. उन्होंने मुझे अंग्रेज बोल के बुलाया क्योंकि आई वॉज स्पीकिंग इन इंग्लिश, मैं इंग्लिश में बात कर रही थी. सो आई नो some of the audience maybe they have this thought कि हम हिंदुस्तानी हैं, हम हिंदी बोलेंगे. तो आई वुड से कि किसी लैंग्वेज से हमारी नेशनैलिटी, हमारा जो देश प्रेम है वो जुड़ा नहीं होता है. हमारा देश प्रेम, हमारा जो नेशनैलिटी है, हमारी राष्ट्रीयता है, हमारा देश प्रेम वो हमारी सोच से जुड़ा हुआ है, हमारे व्यवहार से जुड़ा हुआ है. सो whatever you are communicating, it is important not in which language you are communicating. We all know Swami Vivekanand. बिफोर 150 साल के पहले स्वामी विवेकानंद ने with brothers and sisters he represented culture of India, but he communicated it in English just because so that audience can understand what he said. But that brothers and sisters was in English, but that was the culture, that was the संस्कृति of India. तो अगर हम इंग्लिश बोलते हैं तो वो हमारे संस्कार, संस्कृति, हमारे समाज से अफेक्ट नहीं होती है. हम जो थॉट शेयर करते हैं इंग्लिश में, इट इज व्हाट विच रिलेट टू आवर नेशनैलिटी, विच रिलेट टू आवर नेशनल लव. सो आई वुड टेल यू हियर कि अगर बाहर की कंट्रीज से बिजनेसमैन एंड एंटरप्रेन्योर्स आर कमिंग टू आवर इंडिया, then why don't we start learning English communication and why don't we go to the abroad? Why don't we bring our businesses to a global market to help our economy as well? So
right. Absolutely. Wonderful points, guys. Wonderful points. We covered a whole range of things. At this point, there are few other things that we want to cover, but maybe we can do that in form of the question and answers. Again, जो भी Facebook पे हैं, जो भी Airmeet में हैं, अपने chat box पे please put in your questions, and I will be taking, I'm starting to take those questions now. And those of you who are on Airmeet, PC, desktop, laptop पे, please raise your hand. You can come in live soon. So I'm going to start looking at the questions, right? Haseeb, there's a question from you from Facebook.
Right.
English British लोगों की भाषा है, right? Someone is saying English British लोगों की भाषा है. तो मुझे तो ये लगता है when they have left us, why should I learn their language? We have covered this, Haseeb, but if you could quickly, in 10-15 seconds answer this.
सही, मतलब वो सोच एक जमाने में थी कि ब्रिटिश लोगों ने they brought that language to India and they established that over here. But imagine this, अगर ब्रिटिश लोग यहाँ पे नहीं आते, and if India wanted to actually communicate with the rest of the world or trade with the rest of the world, हम लोग कौन सी भाषा में जाके बात करेंगे, और इंडिया को रिलेट करने के लिए वो कौन सी भाषा बाहर के लोग वैसे यूज करेंगे. जैसे अंग्रेज के पास जा रहे हैं तो अंग्रेज या हिंदी में बोलेंगे या तमिल में बोलेंगे या तेलुगु में. इतने सारे डायलेक्ट्स हैं हमारे. We have so many dialects in our country and it is full and rich of that culture. But if people from outside wanted to deal with India, which language do they deal with, right? वो एक common language है, सिर्फ हमारे English बात करने से we get exposed, not the other way around. It is only beneficial to us, not beneficial to them in any way.
Absolutely. Perfectly answered, Haseeb. It only adds value. It doesn't decrease value in any way. That's an interesting thing. Let's go on to the next question. This is for Pinal. This question is from an audience member from Airmate Pinal. I always feel awkward because I'm shy of my accent. How do I overcome this? Pinal?
ओके, तो आप अभी अभी मुझे सुन रहे हो, तो आपको कहीं ना कहीं मेरे असेंट में गुजराती दिखा होगा, राइट? सो डोंट वरी अबाउट असेंट. द मोर यू स्पीक, द मोर यू विल प्रैक्टिस. जितना आप प्रैक्टिस करोगे वो उतना सही होता जाएगा डे बाय डे. बट उस चीज को सोच के आपको वहीं पे अटक नहीं जाना है. साउथ इंडियन के पास अपना दूसरा असेंट होता है, नॉर्थ इंडियन के पास अपना दूसरा असेंट होता है, मराठी के पास एज ए गुजराती मेरा भी अपना असेंट है. But the more I will speak with English with different people from different parts of India, from even abroad, then it will help me to improve my accent as well. So usko don't worry about your accent, it will automatically get वो अपने आप अच्छा हो जाएगा, वो अपने आप सही हो जाएगा.
Absolutely. It's always starting, right? शुरू करना है and कोशिश करना है. That is all it is. Yes. कोशिश कर लो and then it will all grow. Haseeb, do you have anything to add here?
No, I think that's true. I mean, accent does play, a very minor role in anything, right? It's more in terms of understanding. अगर बाहर दूसरे देश में भी जाओ, फ्रेंच लोग जब इंग्लिश में बात करते हैं, फ्रेंच की एक्सेंट अलग होती है. वैसे अमेरिकन एक्सेंट अलग होती है, ऑस्ट्रेलियन एक्सेंट अलग होती है. कोई ब्रिटिश के पास जाओ तो ब्रिटिश की एक्सेंट तो बहुत ही अलग होती है, राइट? लेकिन ये सब समझने के लिए लोगों के पास सिर्फ that common understanding of English is the start. लेकिन वहां पे अगर उन्हीं लोगों के साथ डील करना है, तब we can perfect that kind of accent where you're dealing with people in. You don't have to perfect any particular accent.
Absolutely, absolutely, and we have so many other examples as well. One is on our very own former, President of India, right?
Yes.
Dr. Kalam. Haseeb, do you want to tell a little bit about?
Because Dr. Kalam he came from a very South Indian background, right? It was very interesting that he made his mark on a global stage, right? Everybody knows Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, right? So when his thought process, all he had to do was communicate his thought process, right, in a form of a language, which was English. But his English was a South Indian English, right? Very thick South Indian accent he had. But when he spoke on a global stage, people listened, not because that it was something that he spoke in a really nice accent, but his thoughts. As Pinal mentioned, your thoughts are communicated on that level. What you think drives the nation, not what how your accent is or how your language is, right? So that is really important. That thing around APJ Abdul Kalam, sir.
Absolutely, and the reverse example of the same thing would be someone a celebrity or someone famous like our Mother Teresa. She was from a foreign land. Maybe English was something that she knew, or maybe her mother tongue was something that but she came here and she learned the language that she wanted to communicate with here. So that's another example from how it becomes less of a language and more of a communication skill as such. All right. I will take one last question from our chat box, and then we will move on to our live video questions. So here, let me see. All right. Soumya Satabdi has a question to Haseeb. Sir, while writing, I write beautifully. But at the time of speaking, I can't be that confident to speak in front of all. And I keep fumbling. Is there any solution?
Right. I think, Soumya, good question. Very, very nicely asked. Again, these are the kind of challenges that most people face, right? When you write something, you write beautifully. But when we listen to those, when you have to, say the same thing, we have problems with that. I had a problem with that, right? I could write properly, I could speak properly, but I couldn't read properly. So when I have to read off a paper or a script, right? I cannot read a complete sentence properly, even till this date. So what I have developed in terms of my skill is that I try to not read anything. I try to speak my mind. The same thing when in your situation, if you can write beautifully, right? maybe something that's driving your skills towards a certain career, right? Think about it in that way. Maybe you have to be in a position where you write things really well. There are a lot of jobs in the market out there that requires a good written skill of English rather than a spoken skill of English, right? You don't have to be presenting yourself every single time, but maybe through your written skills, you can actually excel. But that understanding that you already have about English will actually propel you to that next level. And slowly by certainly, you can certainly start doing those things that will allow you to speak properly in English as well. This is not just about speaking skills, but it's also about written and reading skills as well.
Absolutely. Thank you, Haseeb. That was a very comprehensive answer. No need to add anything there. So, Pinal, you have a question. I want to give UPSC. Okay, someone's saying I want to give UPSC, but I studied in Gujarati medium. Right now I'm in BCom. How exactly do I go on and prepare?
Okay, yeah. So आपने गुजराती मीडियम से पढ़ा है just like me, so definitely you will have English as a second language, right? So आपको English के जो basic ideas है वो आपको already पता है. And for UPSC English बेसिक लेवल पे होता है, कुछ हाई लेवल पे नहीं होता है. एंड मोर ओवर राइट नाउ यू आर इन TY BCom, you have done 2 years of your college, you have completed your 2 years of college, right? तो कॉलेज में completely इंग्लिश होता है. So you had enough exposure with English in your studies. So UPSC preparation में इंग्लिश as per my knowledge जिस लेवल का होता है, that you have already get in your academics, in your school as a second language, and in your college as well. So just one thing that I would tell you here is कि just stop thinking that whatever you are doing is you are bad in whatever you are doing. आप जो चीज कर रहे हो उसमें आप पीछे हो कहीं पे, वो आपको नहीं आती, वो सोचना बंद कर दो. वो आपको ऑलरेडी आती है, बट आप जब वो सोचना बंद कर दो कि आप जो कर रहे हो, इंग्लिश कम्युनिकेशन कर रहे हो, इंग्लिश की पढ़ाई कर रहे हो, वो आपको नहीं आता है, तो वो ऑटोमेटिकली आपको आने लगेगा. आपके एफर्ट्स आपको रिजल्ट में कन्वर्ट होके दिखेंगे.
Absolutely. It all starts with कोशिश करने से शुरू होता है, प्रैक्टिस करने से बढ़ता है, and then we can go on, right? So कोशिश करो, प्रैक्टिस करो, and then you'll all be wonderfully well at whatever you're trying to do. Not necessarily just this. Thank you for that, Pinal. Moving on. Haseeb, Shruti has a question to you. Shruti says, English मतलब क्या है?
English हमारा टर्म होता है. जब हम लोग इंग्लिश में बात करना चाह रहे होते हैं, तो ये इंग्लिश क्या है? हमारे काम आएगा या नहीं आएगा? It is that question, English is not a statement. It is actually a question. It is, do we have to talk in English? So it is a kind of question that people, have in their minds, or they even mock other people, that speak in English. Yeah, English क्या बात कर रहे हो? हिंदी में बात करो ना. It's a phrase that people use around that. It's a fun way of actually telling people about it.
Right. And you can always have English and English. You can have English if you're talking Tamil and English. You can talk English, Telugu and English. You can talk anything as long as you're willing to try. The other person is able to see that, hey, this person is trying. ये कोशिश कर रहा है, and he wants to make himself better, and that is the value in that person. He wants to learn. उसे खुद को बेहतर बनाना है, खुद अच्छा बनना चाहता है ये, which means I will also support him, and that's where all of this goes on as well. All right. Before we close, we're almost towards the end. If anyone wants to ask a live question, on the top right hand side, you have a hand. For those of you who are on your PC and laptops, you have a hand which says raise hand. If you click on that, you will be able to come on live as well. We will give another 2-3 minutes.
बात करेंगे
Yes, absolutely.
सामने बात करेंगे.
Yeah. Haseeb, one question. Yes. I love traveling. Sheena is asking you this. I love traveling, right? Since you have traveled all over the world, the country maybe, how important is English in countries that don't have English as their main language?
Good, very, very nice question. Very well asked as well. Because see, I'll take some extreme examples as well, like China. China is a very dictatorship-oriented country where everybody has to speak in Chinese and everything else, right? And people that go to China have to have some sort of exposure into Chinese, right? Now, but take other countries for example. Everybody that goes out to different countries, you need to have a little bit of exposure into what that language is. Again, it goes back into this accent and everything. How do people, how much exposure have those people have? And it is about understanding the culture of that particular country and how much they have adopted English as well. It is not more about how much you have exposure into English, but also understanding how much exposure has that country had to English. So when you travel to a different destination, it is not about people coming to India. It is you going over there and being able to communicate with those folks. Now, which language would you go and communicate in? Is a question. Are you going to go and communicate in Hindi and say, all they'll say, kuch kuch hota hai. Everyone says the same thing. People understand those little phrases about Hindi and they'll say, okay, that phrase in Hindi. But, if you want to talk in English, they probably understand a little bit. They're facing the same challenges as well. But if it's an English country and everything, they have better exposure. So it's different phases.
Yes, and all of this exposure starts with you starting, right, Haseeb?
Yeah.
It always starts from within.
Yes.
Right. I want to take, before we close off, there's one last question, maybe one or two more questions. And this question I want to ask first Haseeb and then throw it over to Pinal as well. NCC cadets as such, right? NCC cadets who are maybe from their 8th and 9th grade or even up to 3 years of degree. NCC cadets do not get exposed to English as a subject while they are, in the most important phase of their lives, the student phase, or just, getting out of college and getting into a professional life. Only a few do well in NCC because of their command over the English language. Do you think making English a hobby is a good idea in any way? This is a question asked by Colonel Suhail Kumar. Haseeb?
Right. I think it is important to have that. Okay, you mentioned that NCC doesn't give the exposure to English as it requires, but I think it is more up to the cadets themselves, right, to actually understand what they need or what they're going to do in their future. They want to progress or they want to sit back. It is. So if those people that want to progress, then I highly recommend that those people, those students, form their own circle of English speaking people and those people that appreciate English, right? Because once you start doing that, automatically, you are gained or honed towards understanding things around English. You maybe somebody is reading a book about English, and maybe you pick up that habit about reading a book in English. Or somebody is saying, let's go to an English movie as opposed to a Hindi movie. It's that kind of a thing. I had those same challenges as well being in Chennai. People wanted to watch Tamil movies. I didn't have any company to watch English movies, right? It's the same thing, but I had to build circles around different people that allowed me to understand different, builders in English circle, a Tamil circle, a Gujarati circle, or whatever it is.
Absolutely. Those are some very good examples, and where they can start off. कैसे करना है, क्या क्या कर सकता हूँ. That is something. You talking about that reminds me. मैंने जो हिंदी सीखा है, there was the show on TV, CID, ACP प्रत्युमन आके बोलते थे, and that's how I saw that, and then I practiced from there, and that's how I learned Hindi. So you can do the same thing, with an English show maybe. Or Pinal, do you have some final thoughts before we, wrap this up?
Yes. So this is actually very interesting because I had a very opposite experience with NCC. Because NCC से मुझे exposure मिला English के साथ. Because अगर मैं national camp के लिए जाना चाहती हूँ तो वहाँ पे तो all over nation से अलग-अलग states से सब आएंगे. So what would be my presentation? How I should present myself? So English was the best and only option for in NCC. And even I would say to the whoever asked the question, I just forgot the name, sorry. So English को एक NCC में आप आए हो तो English को एक language की तरह limited मत रखो. English is a skill. So उसको as a skill उसको अपनी hobby बनाओ और उसको उस तरीके से आप अपनी लाइफ में भी implement करो और NCC में भी. It will definitely give you more exposure with NCC camps and after even NCC you will definitely be very confident and very good with achieving your goals in your professional life as well. So just go in NCC and find how you can expose your this English communication skill in NCC with NCC camps. So yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thanks a lot for those thoughts, Pinal. Haseeb, any final thoughts from your side?
I think most of these people that have actually joined the platform today, right, have already come to this platform to obviously find something more, and I hope that they have maybe got some exposure into it. And I'd really like to applaud, EXPA for actually exposing people to these kind of opportunities, because these are not some things that are openly spoken about. These are not topics that are considered important sometimes, but they actually play a vital role in a person's progression in life. So I really applaud, the whole group and the volunteers at EXPA for bringing such a nice, webinar together where people can talk about all of these topics.
Thank you, Haseeb. Thank you, and it's always glad to have speakers with a lot of experience, like both you and Pinal, on our platform, and we hope it has helped all of our audience members as well. Thank you so much. It was wonderful having you guys here, and just a few final formalities for our audience members. Jaane se pehle, I want to share a couple of things with you guys. I will be sharing my screen right now to show you a little bit about what is coming up for you guys. So the next webinar, which is on 18th October, is on the topic SSB OLQs. Are these new norms for all careers too? This is part 1 of this next webinar on 18th October. 18 October ko agla webinar hai, and the topic is right on your screen. All the information about this will be on our social media channels. And I will tell you a little bit about our social media next. So those of you who attended this webinar, जो भी Airmeet से login किए हैं इस webinar के लिए, आप please download the EXPA Cadet app from the Play Store, from the Google Play Store. Log in with the same email ID, और इस हफ्ते में आपको एक notification आएगा to fill a feedback form. इस webinar के बारे में एक feedback form का link आएगा. वो link fill करते ही in a couple of days you will get your certificate, your participation certificate for this webinar. Now moving on, how to stay connected with us, कैसे connected रह सकते हैं हमारे साथ with EXPA and the Cadet Diaries. These are our social media handles on the screen. We have Instagram, cadet_expa_India. We've got Facebook. We're on Twitter. The recording of this and all the other previous 9 episodes of the Cadet Diaries is on our YouTube channel, which is EXPA Cadet Program. And finally, we have the EXPA Cadet app on the right extreme side. All right. Thank you guys for joining in. All the questions that we were not able to answer, maybe we can answer them through our social media channels sometime in the near future. Thank you all for joining. Thank you, Haseeb and Pinal as well. It was great having you. I will see you all in the next webinar, episode 11. All right. Thank you guys. And bye-bye till next time.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining us.